Hello everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the session today. Hope you all can hear me. Can you guys confirm once? Okay, that's great. Thanks for confirming. So let us start the session, guys. So today is our first demo with the data engineering with Google Cloud Platform. Okay. So in this today's session, we are going to discuss about first what is data engineering. And if I wanted to become a role data engineer, what is a skills that we need to learn? And what is the day-to-day activities of a data engineer? We are going to cover in the first topic. That is, what is data engineering? And after that, I'm going to tell you about what is Google Cloud Platform. Right? Some people know about the AWS and Azure, and some people does not know about the Google Cloud Platform. What is actually the Google Cloud Platform? And what are the benefits of using the Google Cloud Platform over the other cloud platforms? Let us try to learn. And what are the services that we are going to cover also, we will see here as a data engineer. And after that, I'm going to tell you about the detailed course curriculum for this particular course. My course was designed into two topics. One is total Google Cloud Platform basics and then data engineering services. Okay, so we will see the detailed course curriculum here. And after that, I am going to tell you about the fourth topic, that is course details. Here, I am going to talk about the what are the course timings, how to access the material, how to access the recordings for this entire batch. So all of those details I am going to talk about here as a fourth point. Okay, so these are the agenda for this today's session, guys. First topic, we are going to see what is data engineering. The second thing, we are going to look at the Google Cloud Platform. The third thing we are going to see is detailed course curriculum. The fourth topic that is we are going to cover is course details. Okay, so these are the four topics that we are going to cover for today, guys. Hope you all can hear me and see my screen as well clearly. If you guys are facing any issues with the audio or video, please let me know, guys. First, let us start with what is data engineering. Okay, so what is data engineering? So let me gonna tell you about what is data engineering and why nowadays the data engineering having plenty of opportunities. Let us try to understand. First thing is that you have a data that is coming from some application, right? So whenever you are interacting with an application, the data gets generated, right? For example, when you go to Flipkart application and try to do some kind of a transaction for ordering some kind of a product, then what you're doing is that you are interacting with an application. The application generates the data. The application generates the data. And similarly, there can be a file. A file can be a CSV file, JSON file, Avro file, or anything where the data is stored. So that is also one of the file for you as a data source. You may be having a data that is coming from some databases. You may be having a data that is coming from some IoT devices such as sensor devices, right? So these are all your possible data sources. These are all your possible data sources where your data is generated. So here you are getting the data from, here also you are getting the data from, here also, and here also. So you have a data that is coming from multiple data sources. So what is our agenda, sir? What is our agenda? What is business thinking is that, what are the companies are thinking is that, so if you try to understand this data properly, if you try to understand this data properly, that analysis gives you some kind of a insights. Those insights are very useful for the business improvement. Those insights are very useful for the business improvement. So end of the day, what we wanted to do is that for every business, they wanted to improve their sales. They wanted to improve their customers. They wanted to improve the customer satisfaction. They wanted to understand the customer behavior or the order history or the purchase pattern. So they wanted to understand this one. If they wanted to understand the all of these things, or if they wanted to improve their business, they need some kind of a insights from the business. These insights, whenever you get the, how do you get these insights? You have a data that is coming from your multiple data sources. You try to understand this data. You try to analyze the data. When you try to analyze the data, those analysis will give you some kind of a insights. Those insights are very useful for the business improvement. So this is what is we call it as a data engineering, sir. In a data engineering, you will be having a data that is coming from the multiple applications, or that are coming from some file formats, or the data may be coming from some databases such as MySQL database, SQL Server database, or PostgreSQL database, or some IoT devices. So your data is generated at multiple locations. Okay, your data is generated at multiple locations. As per the business, you are going to do some kind of a analysis on top of your data. And once the analysis is done, that gives you some kind of insights. Those insights are very useful for the business improvement. Okay, so such a kind of analysis that you are seeing nowadays, for example, you are seeing the big billion days. In Flipkart, you are seeing the big billion days. How this big billion days came into the picture? It was because of analyzing the data. They came to know that the number of sales in that particular area was very less. So that's the reason they come up with some kind of an offers on that particular period, so that the people will start purchasing more products because of the discounts. So that's the reason they started a event called Big Billion Days. Similarly, Amazon live sales. So these kind of a things actually comes from the understanding the business only. So when you understand the business, you will get to know how to improve the business. When you improve your business, when you start improving the businesses, you have to put some kind of a discounts, you have to put some kind of a customer attracting events. So such a kind of a events are Big Billion Days, as well as Amazon live sales, or what we call it as a, so Meesho, or wherever you go. So you are going to see such a kind of a patterns that they are following to improve the customer sales. Okay, so this is how. So now you got to know that our agenda is to understand the business properly. Okay, if we wanted to understand the data, and which eventually gives us the insights. So if you wanted to understand the data properly, first you need to store the data. First you need to store the data. So the data is coming from the multiple data sources. If your main agenda is to improve the business, which needs insights to improve the business. So if you wanted to get the insights, you need to understand the business. If you wanted to understand the business, if you wanted to understand the data, you need to have the data in one single location. Yes or no? You need to have a data in one single location. So that is what we call as a data lake. So in a data lake, what we try to do is that we extract the data from these multiple data sources and we store it here. We extract the data from these multiple data sources. We store it in a single location called a data lake. Data lake is one of the raw storage repository where you can store any amount of data in a raw format. Okay, where you can able to store any amount of data in a raw format. Either you can call it as a data lake, or you can also call it as a staging area. Okay, you can also call it as a staging area here. So you are going to extract the data from these multiple data sources. You are going to store the data, because if I wanted to do analysis, I need the data to be there in one single location. So that is where you are putting the entire data into the data lake. Okay, now tell me guys, whatever the data that we got from these data sources, now it is here. Can you tell me, is the data is properly cleaned data? Can we directly use it for the analysis purpose? Can we directly use it for the analysis purpose? This data we are getting it from directly from the data sources. Can we directly use it for the analysis purpose? No, because this data may have some kind of a duplicates. This data may have some kind of a inaccuracy issues, may have some kind of a null values. Okay, so that is the reason even before analyzing the data, we are going to process the data. So the next step is that we are going to process the data. So we extract the data from this particular data lake. We are going to transform the data or process the data, and we need to load it to the some other layer. Okay, what is data processing? Data processing is a value addition technique. What kind of a value are adding to the data? Sir, here we are going to remove the duplicates because we wanted a clean data for the analysis purpose. We don't want the data which is having some duplicates, which is having some issues with the data. We don't want that, because if the data is having the problems while we are analyzing the data, the analysis insights will also have a wrong. Those insights also wrong. So that is the reason whatever the analysis that we wanted to do it, we will be doing it on top of a properly cleaned and prepared data only. We wanted to do it on top of a properly cleaned and prepared data. Okay, if you are not cleaning the data properly, the data may have some kind of inaccuracy. So the inaccuracy will lead to the inaccuracy insights, inaccurate results. So those results does not help you to improve the business. So that is the reason we have to do the data processing on top of the data, which is very useful to add some kind of a value to the data, to add some kind of a value to the data. So value addition is nothing but removing some kind of a duplicates or null values handling, or many things comes into the picture. Okay, so that is what. And once the data is properly processed, we are going to send this data to the data warehouse. Okay, where you can do the analysis. Okay, where you can do the analysis. Once you have the data cleaned properly, prepared the data properly for the analysis, that you are going to send the data to the data warehouse. Data warehouse, what is data warehouse? A data warehouse is a entire enterprise data location where you can have your entire data of your business, so that you can do the performance, so that you can do the analysis on top of your data. So the analysis can be done with the help of the SQL language, guys. Right? So the data warehouses comes up with a built-in query engine, which is capable of running the SQL queries, which is very useful for the business to analyze the data. Here we are doing the analysis with the help of a simple language called SQL. SQL is a structured query language. So here data in the data warehouses, the data is stored in the form of a tables. On top of these tables, we are going to run the SQL queries for running the analysis. Okay, those analysis reports we are going to create in terms of a tables only. So the downstream are going to get the analysis reports in the form of a table. Okay, so this is how you get the data from these multiple data sources. You store the data into a single location called data lake. You process the data using the data processing tools. Plenty of data processing tools are there, guys. You have a Spark, you have a Beam, Dataproc, Databricks. Plenty of the tools are there. And you also analyze the data using the SQL language. So plenty of data warehousing tools are there. You have Hive, you have BigQuery, you have Redshift, you have Synapse Analytics, Snowflake. So these are all the tools are for the data warehousing purpose only. So once the data is there in the data tables, what the downstream people, these are our downstream people, guys. Downstream. The downstream people will try to create the dashboards or reports on top of our data so that the data looks in the form of a pictorials, so that the business users can directly understand the data by looking at the pictures. And there can be a machine learning engineer creating a machine learning model on top of this data, or there can be a data scientist who is trying to find the future trends, or there can be a business group who is directly using this data for the business improvement purpose. So this is how these many data stream downstream people are there. So from us, so whatever the data that you are prepared, you have a downstream people, they are going to utilize it for the various purposes. Okay, not only that, we will also ensure that the data is accurate, and throughout the period, we are going to create the data governance charts. So data governance, where we are going to ensure that the data is accurate throughout the platform. Okay, because whatever the data that you are getting from the data source, the same amount of a data you have to send it to the destination. Okay, so the data should not, you should not lose the data, and data has to be complete. If you got some 100 records of the data, you have to send the 100 records of the data. That is what we call as a completeness, data completeness. And data accuracy. So the data accuracy means the accuracy of the data. That means if you got some kind of a data, the same amount of data you have to send it to the downstream. So this is what, in a data governance, we wanted to ensure that the data is accurate and complete throughout the platform. So this is what we call as a data governance, guys. Okay, and we don't want it to do the things manually. These arrow marks are indicating it as a pipeline. Okay, we create the pipelines which are running in a scheduled fashion or which are running in a continuous fashion. Okay, so that we don't want it to do the things manually. Okay, so this is what is data engineering, sir. So this entire chart tells you about the data engineering. In a data engineering, you have first, you have a upper stream or a data source team. You have a downstream, that is a data destination team. So upper stream or a the data source team, you are going to get the data from multiple data sources. You are going to store it into a single location called a data lake. You need to process the data using multiple data processing tools. We need to analyze the data using the data warehousing simple language called SQL. Whatever the analysis that you have done on the data warehousing, you will be used for the BI, for the dashboards or reports purpose, or for the machine learning, or for the data scientist, or for the business group. And one more important topic, that is data governance and monitoring, where you ensure the data accuracy and completeness. Okay, so this is what is data engineering, guys. As per the definition, data engineering is a process of collecting, organizing, and preparing large amounts of the data so that it can be used for the analysis purpose. Okay, data engineering is a process of collecting the data, organizing the data, preparing the large amounts of the data so that it can be easily used for the analysis purpose. And during this process, we need to design or build the systems and infrastructure that allow the data to be captured, stored, processed, and accessed efficiently. Because this is what we call as the pipelines. Because we don't want the system to be done manually. We don't want the things to be done manually, because manual things takes a lot of time, and handling the large amount of a data with the manual things can be taking a lot of time and lot of effort also. So that is the reason most of the times we are going to automate it with the help of the automatic infrastructure building, and also end-to-end pipelines. So this is what is data engineering, sir. In a data engineering, we need to capture the data, store the data, process the data, and analyze the data So this is what is our main agenda in the data engineering, guys. Okay, hope you got some idea about the data engineering. So you might be, whenever you are working in a company, you might be saying you are working on some data processing, but you wanted to understand whole and soul about data engineering. So this is what is whole and soul, guys. Some data engineer is working on some data collection. Some data engineer is working on data ingestion, or some data engineer works on the data storage and management. Someone working on the data processing. Someone working on the data quality and data governance, data pipeline creation, performance optimization, monitoring and maintenance. So this is what is the role of a data engineer. If you ask me what is the data engineer do every day, so these are the activities that the data engineer do every day, guys. So he is the one who works on the data ingestion process. Data ingestion means extracting the data from the multiple data sources and storing it into a single layer called a data lake. And we need to think about what solution that we have to use it for the storing the data. And is the solution can be able to capable of scaling up and down as per the requirement, can be capable of storing any amount of a data as per the demand, and can be able to provide the access or not. That means access control capabilities, and does it comes with the data protection capabilities also. So if we wanted to store the data, we need to think about what storage solution that we have to use. And here we are going to cover, there will be a one data engineer who works on the data storage and management. He worry about how to store the data, he worry about where to store the data, he worry about how to provide the access to the data, and he worry about how to protect the data also in this particular data storage and management. And in the data processing, the data engineer worry about how to process the data, what framework they have to use it for processing the large amounts of the data, and the process during the processing activities, what are the things that they have to consider as per the business requirement. So all of these things they are going to do it in the data processing. And data quality and governance, as I told you, as a data engineer, you need to ensure that the data is accurate and complete throughout the platform, because data accuracy is one of the important aspect. If the data is not accurate, the insights, reports, or results will be inaccurate. Okay, so that is the reason you need to provide a confidence to your customer, saying that whatever the data that we are giving, the data quality is this much, and we are doing all the data governance activities. Okay, some people use some hash algorithm techniques, some people use some kind of a monitoring dashboards for ensuring the data is accuracy or not. So all of these things comes under the data quality and governance, guys. And one more thing also I have told you, we don't wanted to do the things manually because we are very lazy. Okay, we wanted to automate the things, because working with a large amounts of the data manually is not possible. Okay, so that is the reason we create an end-to-end pipelines which extracts the data from the multiple data sources, which processes it, which analyzes it, and which sends the data to the downstream. So that is where we are going to create an end-to-end pipelines here, guys. Okay, here we are going to create a batch pipelines as well as streaming pipelines. Okay, and performance optimization is one of the important aspect that the data engineer almost do every day. Because if you think that one of the pipeline is taking a lot of time, or if you think that one of the SQL code is taking a lot of time, or if one of the PySpark code is taking a lot of time, so if any of the code is taking a lot of time, we need to spend our time to resolve it and try to reduce the time, and it should be working in a economic situation. Okay, the cost of the query is very important, guys. So the time taken for the query to run should be reduced. The cost of the query should also be reduced, because if it is taking a lot of time, it is not only just taking a lot of time, it is also eating a lot of resources. So when you are working on the cloud, the lot of resources is equal to lot of money. So that is the reason performance optimization is one of the important aspect. If you go for an interview also without a question, you will not come out of interview. Okay, because whoever knows how to optimize the data, whoever knows how to do the performance optimization, the interviewer think that they all know about all other topics. So the one who is having a good knowledge on the performance optimization, they are good at almost all the topics. So that's what the interviewer think. So performance optimization is a very, very important in almost all the topics that we are going to cover in our upcoming sessions. Okay, and then one more thing is that monitoring and maintenance. As I told you, we need to monitor our pipelines, whatever the pipelines that we have created. A data engineer is supposed to monitor those pipelines, because if it is failed at some point of time, you need to fix it as soon as possible, so that the downstream people are getting the accurate data. If the pipeline is failed, the downstream people are not getting the data, so that's where the problem starts. Okay, so we need to monitor the pipelines as soon as the pipelines are started creating, and we need to maintain the pipelines now and then also, because if your framework you have started and if it was upgraded, you need to upgrade it in your pipelines also. Okay, if your infrastructure is outdated and you need to upgrade it to the next version, so this is what we call as a maintenance. Okay, so this is what the data engineer do every day, guys. Okay, one data engineer may work on data ingestion. Someone works on the data storage and management. Someone works on the data processing. Someone works on the data quality and governance. Someone creates a data pipelines. Someone works on the performance optimization, monitoring and maintenance. So this is what is data engineering, and these are the role of a data engineer, sir. This is a role of a data engineer also. Okay, so hope you guys got some idea about the data engineering. Does anyone have any questions on the data engineering, please? Please raise your hand. If anyone have any questions on the data engineering, please raise your hand, guys. Okay, so don't worry about it. We are going to do all of these things every day. Okay, so as the data engineering, we are going to cover almost all of these topics every day in our upcoming sessions. So we just wanted to understand what is data engineering. A data engineering is a process to get the data from the multiple data sources, store it, process it, analyze it, and store it into the multiple data destinations, so that the downstream people get benefit from the data. The processed data or cleaned data, which is very useful for them to create the dashboards or machine learning models or data scientist reports. Okay, so this is what is data engineering, guys. Hope you guys have no questions. If anyone have any questions, I'm going to give you 1 minute. You can please ask me, guys. You can raise your hand and you can ask me. We will see the course content, guys. Okay, so don't worry about it. If you have any question, we will see. Yes, yes, please. Yes, yes. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you, right? So I'll tell you. So the topics of what we are going to use it. For example, okay, let me gonna tell you here itself. For the data lake. Okay, so there are plenty of tools for the data lake, guys. You might have already know about it. So for the data lake, so if you go to the on-premises, we are using the HDFS for storing the data. Okay, Hadoop distributed file system. If you go to the cloud platforms, you have a GCS, Google Cloud Storage. If you go to the Azure, you have a ADLS, Azure Data Lake System. And if you go to the AWS, you have a S3. So these are all the tools that we are using it for the data lake. Okay, similarly for the data processing, ADLS. It's an explorer. Okay, we don't actually use all the tools as a data lake. So data lake is by default, it should comes up with a features of scalability, and it should be able to store any amount of a data. It should be able to store any format of the data, and it should be able to store the data any number of files also. Okay, so such kind of a features if we have, we can call it as a data lake. So that's the reason HDFS can able to store any amount of data, any format, any number of files. HDFS, GCS, ADLS, S3, all of these things we usually call it as a data lake. Yeah. Okay. Okay. See, Explorer comes under ADLS. Explorer or ADLS, or you call it as a blob, or these are all same. It doesn't mean that it is different. It comes under these topics only. Okay. So okay, what we call it as, that's what. So the snowflake, that's what snowflake is. I'm gonna tell you here. Don't worry. So let me gonna make it. Okay. Yes. So similarly for the data processing, you may use Spark. So for the data processing activities, so some people use Spark. Some for the I mean the on premises. When you go for on premises, you can use Spark or Hadoop. Some people earlier people used to use Hadoop for the data processing, and nowadays in a cloud platforms, people started using the Dataproc in the Google Cloud platform, or Dataflow for using the Apache Beam. Okay. So again, data processing systems such as people started using the Databricks nowadays, and you have a Elastic EMR, Elastic Map Reduce, and some people also use Azure Databricks, ADB. Okay, ADB. So anything you can use. Okay, so these are all the data processing systems. All these are all whatever we am calling. So earlier people started using the Spark and Hadoop, and all these tools built on top of the Spark only. Wherever you go, okay, except this one, data flow is different. So there are different tools. Matillion is also one of the tool for data processing. Okay, there are plenty of tools. So we are talking about the mainly the cloud platforms. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So here you have a Dataproc or a Databricks or a EMR or a Azure Databricks or a Dataflow. These are all the tools mainly people use it for the data processing when it comes to the cloud. Okay, and similarly for data warehousing purpose, warehousing. So when you go for data warehousing, people start using the Hive. If you go for on-premises, earlier people start to use Hive. In Google Cloud Platform, you have a BigQuery. In the AWS, you have a Redshift. In Azure, you have a Synapse. And if you go on-premises, you also have a Snowflake. So this is how these are the data warehousing tools that people started utilizing it. It's not that you have to learn all of these tools. So here if you learn one, here if you learn one, here if you learn one, all other things you will get to know. Okay, it's not that you have to learn all of these tools. Sir, I wanted to become an expert in the data warehousing. We are going to cover the BigQuery in our upcoming sessions. Here we are going to look at the Dataproc, Databricks, Dataflow. And here we are going to look at the GCS. So if you learn the GCS, all other things you will get to know. It's not that it's different. So this is how we are going to cover in our upcoming sessions. I'm going to talk about the uh, the course content in detail so that you will get more confidence, but try to understand these are all the tools. Different tools comes from the different what I would say, organizations or entities or the people, I would say. Yeah, of course, all are these are SQL based. Okay, all of these are SQL based, all are these are Python based. Okay, all are these are Python based. These are all user interface based. Okay, yeah. So data processing tools, mainly you use Python, sir. Python plus SQL sometimes also. And the data lake tools mainly utilized with the help of the UI, user interface tools. Almost all the data warehousing is done with the help of the SQL only. Okay, yeah. So this is how it is, guys. Yeah. Okay, I see that. Yes, Shiva Prasad, you have any question? You were asking something. Yes, Ajay, you have any question? Your voice. Yeah, please. Yeah, you can also use data fusion, but it is a user interface tool. Very rarely people are using. Yeah, we are covering that in our topics. Yeah, data prep is also there, but people does not use it nowadays. Yeah, it's similar to the data fusion. Yeah. Yes, anyone have any other questions, please? Yes, Shiva Prasad. Yes, yes, please. So I'll talk about it, guys. So let me not talk about directly about these things. Let us go one by one. Okay, I am just talking about giving you the examples. Let us go one by one, guys. What the course gives you, what we are going to cover. Let us go one by one. Let's not just we are just talking about the course content only. Let me gonna tell you about Google Cloud Platform, and then I will go to the course curriculum, and then I will go who can attend these courses and what is the benefit of attending this course, how what is this course gives you. All of those details I'm going to give you in next 15-20 minutes. Stay tuned, please. Okay, so look at here. Yeah, so first let us understand, we have completed what is data engineering. Let us try to see what is Google Cloud Platform also, and then we will go to the course content. First, Google Cloud Platform, you might have known other cloud platforms, right? AWS and Azure and Google Cloud Platform, GCP. So AWS, Azure, and GCP, all these three are the leading cloud providers, guys. These are all leading cloud providers. So what they do, they provide you the cloud computing services. They provide you the cloud computing services. So these services are very useful for the companies to build their application. If they wanted to build the application or deploy the application, or if they wanted to store the data or process the data or analyze the data, or if they wanted to create some machine learning model or networking or data science activities or whatever the activities they wanted to do. So these services are very useful for the organizations to build their application, deploy their application, and scale their applications and services in the cloud. Or these services are very useful for the companies to store the data, process the data, analyze the data, transform the data, visualize the data. These services are very useful for creating the machine learning models end to end. These services are very useful for the networking. These services are very useful for the storage and database services. So this is what AWS, Azure, and GCP are the three leading cloud providers. They provide you the cloud computing services. These services are very useful for the organizations to do all of these data, all of these project requirement activities. Okay, So this is what is one of the cloud platform is a Google Cloud Platform, and Google Cloud Platform is one of the leading cloud provider. They provide you the cloud computing services for doing all of these activities. Okay, so that is the reason nowadays most of the companies are started utilizing the cloud platforms, because cloud provides you the plenty of services. Cloud provides you the plenty of services. So the simple thing, if I have to talk about why cloud only, for example, assume that you got a job in Hyderabad. Okay, take an example that you have got a job in Hyderabad. So you need to stay in Hyderabad. Can you tell me how many ways that we can able to stay there? The very first method is that you can construct your own house. Okay, if you wanted to stay in Hyderabad, you can construct your own house. Can you tell me, is it easy task? For constructing a house, you need to purchase the land. You need to start planning your, I mean, creating a plan for your house. Start building and constructing the house, buying the raw material, plenty of the things. Once the house is once the house is constructed properly, then you can stay there. How much time it will take, sir? It almost takes 6 months to 8 months for the entire house to be constructed. So if you got a job in Hyderabad, if you wanted to stay there, you have to take care of all the things from scratch to the end. That means scratch means from starting the purchasing the land until to completing your house. You as a person has to take care of all the things, so that you are building your own house for you to stay there. So this is one method. Or there can be a one more method, that is, what is the second method, guys, if you wanted to stay in Hyderabad? Anyone? Can Yeah, we can rent a flat, or we can rent a PG or anything, and you can just do we need to do anything? No, you just stay there and you pay for what you are staying there. You only pay for how many days you are staying there. So this is the two method. So this is the old way of working, that is on premises working model, traditional working model. In a traditional working model, you and your company has to take care of all the activities, such as creating the infrastructure for your project, building the infrastructure, networking, storage, backup, everything you have to take care of it. So that is what we call as the on-premises working model, or traditional working model. That was the old working model. So now you know. So if you wanted to stay there, even though you got job tomorrow itself, but you have to wait for 6 to 8 months to stay there, so that until then you cannot stay there. Okay, until then you cannot be stable there. So this is the reason the on-premises has its own challenges, such as it is a slow deployment model and it takes a lot of time. So all of those things comes into the picture. But if you wanted to stay in Hyderabad, you can rent it. It is hardly 1 hour or 2 hour it takes for you to shift there. 1 hour hardly. Okay, so this is what we call is a renting the resources. Renting the resources is nothing but a cloud platform, cloud computing model. So what you try to do, cloud computing, cloud providers are providing you the services. These services you can directly rent it. These services you can directly rent it, and you can use these services for your project requirement fulfilling purpose. Project requirement fulfilling purpose, you can start utilizing these resources. Okay, so this is how the cloud providers do the benefit to the companies. So that's the reason most of the companies started utilizing the cloud only. 70 to 80% of the companies nowadays moved from the on-premises working culture to the cloud working culture. Okay, so this is how. So one of such a cloud platform is a Google Cloud Platform. It provides you the cloud computing services for the organizations to build the application, deploy the application, and scale the applications and services in the cloud platforms. Google Cloud Platform is one of the cloud computing services provided by the Google that offers a range of products and solutions for the organizations to build the application, deploy the application, and scale the applications and services in the cloud. Okay, so this is how it is, guys. And these services are highly reliable, secure, and it provides you the scalable infrastructure so that the companies can start utilizing the Google's global network of data centers. Okay, so this is how it is. This is what is Google Cloud Platform, guys. Google Cloud Platform is one of the leading cloud provider providing you the cloud computing services. These services are very useful for the organizations to build the application, deploy the application, and scale the application. Similarly, if you wanted to store the data, process the data, and analyze the data, Google Cloud Platform has its set of services. Okay, so that is what. And Google Cloud Platform has a very good community support. And Google Cloud Platform provides you the cost-effective services. So if you go to AWS, if you go to Azure, if you go to GCP, for one resource, the same resource cost in the AWS could be $100. The same cost could be $90. It could be $75 only. The same resource cost in the Google Cloud Platform will be $75 only. Okay, so that is means that Google Cloud Platform resources are cost effective. So that is the reason most of the companies are started moving to the Google Cloud Platform only. So that is the reason plenty of opportunities are there for the GCP data engineers. People are getting almost 5 offer letters, 6 offer letters also. It's because that you have a plenty of opportunities, but very less manpower, very less professionals available, very less people who learn GCP. So that is the reason very less people. So most of the people does not know even that the GCP is exist. Okay, so that is the reason the main agenda that for this particular course is to make you professional in the GCP and go and crack the interviews. So, okay, so to make you having a good knowledge on the almost all the GCP services with a very good experience, and we are getting planned to place you in most of the companies. So plenty of the companies such as almost 20 to 25 companies are there. They are looking eagerly for the GCP data engineer, but a very less GCP data engineers available in the market. Okay, so again coming to the GCP, it is providing you the flexibility services, and it is providing you the scalable services. These scalable services are we can scale up and down as per the requirement, and it is trustworthy, reliable, and secure. It is also providing you the fully managed services. These services are very fast, and the interface is also very simple. Okay, so this is the reason that most of the companies are started utilizing the Google Cloud Platform, guys. Okay, when the companies are started using the GCP, there will be a plenty of opportunities. When there is a plenty of opportunities, we must learn that particular course, and we go for the job and we crack it and get as many as offer letters. So that is the agenda. And GCP is a market leader. As I told you, it is a top 3 leading cloud provider, and in that industry adaptation is there. I was talking about this one, right? So even startup companies, mid-based companies, MNC companies, product-based companies started using the GCP. It is because of its cost-effective nature. And if something is cost-effective with the same features you are getting, why not, right? So that's the reason Google is already having a very good name from the last 10 years. Now most of the companies are started using the Google again. And it has a comprehensive service portfolio. So I will show you that. So this is what is a comprehensive service portfolio, guys. Google Cloud Platform provides you the plenty of services. So it provides you the compute services. It provides you the identity and security services. It provides you the management tools. It provides you the networking services. It provides you the big data services. It provides you the storage and database services. It provides you the machine learning services. This is category, and here you have services. These are all services. Okay, so this is how it provides the plenty of services. I have just listed out few only here. Okay, so this is how Google Cloud Platform has a comprehensive service portfolio, and it can be easily integrated with all other systems as well as services in the cloud and outside the cloud also. And Google Cloud Platform also providing you the machine learning capabilities. And Google has its own infrastructure throughout the world. That means it is providing you the global infrastructure. Even in India also, we have two data centers in Mumbai as well as in the Delhi, and very useful in the multi-cloud projects. And those who have done the certification in the Google Cloud Platform, they are very appreciated, and though they will have a good plus point during the interview. When you go for an interview, you are your certification gives you a value so that you can get the easily job compared to the other people. Okay, so certification has a very good career growth, guys. Okay, so this is how most of the companies are started using the GCP, and this is the reason plenty of the companies, plenty of opportunities are there. So, and one more thing, look at here, the career growth rate. For growth rate, for nothing but in the last quarter, Google Cloud Platform, the usage was increased by the companies. So compared to the AWS and Azure, Google Cloud Platform is 54%. You can see here. So that means 54% of the companies started using the Google Cloud Platform. AWS was just only 32% and Azure was only 51%. Okay, that means the growth rate. That means from the last year to this year, the GCP using companies are increased, and 54% is even more than the AWS and Azure. So that means because of its cost effective nature, the companies are started utilizing the GCP. So that is the reason we should learn. And Google Cloud Platform is also offering plenty of the roles such as GCP data engineer, GCP developer, admin, DevOps engineer, architect. Our main agenda is to focus on this course on GCP data engineering, guys. Okay, so this is what it is. We are going to focus on the GCP data engineering. Okay, yeah. And those who wanted to go for the certification, you have here Associate Cloud Engineer certification. You have here Professional Data Engineering certification also. So you can also go for these certifications as well. Okay, this is service portfolio as I told you. Okay, so this is what is about Google Cloud Platform, guys, so far. Let me gonna talk about the course content. Yeah, please. GCP developer is the one who works on the application developments, right? Web application developments. Data engineer is the one works on the data. Okay, data engineering, data processing. You know, Python application developer, Java application developer. Those are the developers. Yeah. Okay. So now the cloud base. So the course content. Sir, I have divided our course content into two things. Our course is divided into two topics. One is cloud basics and one more is data engineering tools. Okay, so the very first thing is that the cloud basics, nothing but Google Cloud Basics. Cloud overview, we are going to start with why we need the cloud platform. What is the difference between the on-premises working model and traditional working model? Sorry, traditional working model as well as cloud computing model. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to start with why we need the cloud platform and what is the difference between the traditional working model as well as a cloud computing model. After that, I will give you a quick overview again on the GCP introduction, why we learn, opportunities and certifications. And we will be learning about the third module, that is GCP interfaces. If you wanted to interact with the GCP services, you have three methods, that is console, cloud shell and cloud SDK. So these are the three methods are there to interact with the GCP services. We are going to see in depth. And after that, I'm going to tell you about the console walkthrough, where I'm going to tell you how to create a free tier account in the GCP, how to set up the project, how to enable the billing and APIs. So free tier account creation is Google Cloud Platform provides you the $300 for next 90 days, which is for free. Okay, so this is our free tier account. So anyone can practice with this free tier account. Yes, I'm going to tell you how to create this free tier account in the Google Cloud Platform, which is valid up to 90 days for $300. Okay, so it is too much money. $300 is too much, even though 3 to 4 people working on the same account also cannot be able to exhaust the entire amount. Okay, so this is how Google Cloud is also providing you the free tier features, so where you can use all the services, almost all the services. There is no restriction. Okay, so this is how it is. I'm going to tell you how to create that. So we are going to implement the practice, and all the lab sessions will be done on the Google Cloud Platform only. And GCP locations, we are going to talk about the regions, zones, and selection criteria and importance. And after that, we are going to talk about the security front, that is IAM, for access control, identities, roles, policy, and resource hierarchy. So these are all the 6 modules that we are going to cover as a part of Cloud Basics, guys. As a part of the Cloud Basics, we are going to cover about the cloud overview, what is Google Cloud Platform, GCP interfaces to interact with the GCP services, console walkthrough. You must set up the entire project and entire setup in the Google Cloud Platform, including the account creation, and GCP locations for whenever you wanted to create a resource or deploy a resource, we must select a proper location. Otherwise, it affects the cost, performance, and availability of the service. So that is the reason we are covering the GCP locations. And if you wanted to provide access to some person working in the Google Cloud Platform, so if you wanted to provide the access or revoke the access, create the service accounts, create the roles, all of those things we can do in the IAM only. So IAM is a identity access management, where Google Cloud Platform authorization is taken care. So in the IAM, we are going to talk about the authorization. Okay, so these are the 6 modules that we are going to cover as a part of Cloud Basics, guys. Okay, this is our course content for the Cloud Basics. And after that, we are going to start with our data engineering services. We will be starting with our storage and database services first. So if your data is there, the data is categorized into unstructured data, semi-structured data, and structured data. For unstructured data in Google Cloud Platform, we have GCS. For semi-structured data, we have Bigtable. For structured data OLTP, we have Cloud SQL. For structured data OLAP, we have a BigQuery. So this is comes under storage and database services, guys. Storage and database services. First service we are covering is Google Cloud Storage. Second, BigQuery, Bigtable. Third, SQL, Cloud SQL. Fourth, BigQuery. So these are the 4 topics that we are going to cover here as a storage and database services. And here, if one wanted to create the data pipelines with the Spark pipelines and Hadoop pipelines, okay, so here we are going to cover the data proc. Okay, we are covering the service called a data proc, which is 5. And we are also covering the beam pipelines. We are covering the data flow also, that is 6. And data fusion for creating the pipelines without writing any code, that is 7. And for workflow orchestration tools, we have Airflow we are covering, that is 8. Okay, so these are the, here we are going to create the data pipelines. This is comes under data processing activities or data pipelines. So we can create the Spark pipelines, we are creating the Beam pipelines, we are creating the pipelines without writing any code. We are also taking care of the workflow orchestration tool, that is Airflow. So to 8. Again, we are working with the streaming data ingestion tools also, that is PubSub 9. And event-based solution, cloud triggered and event-based solution, that is 10. Additionally, as a complementary, I'm also teaching you the infrastructure provisioning, that is 11. So total 11 data engineering tools that we are going to cover, guys. Total 11 data engineering tools that we are going to cover. You can see here. Okay, one is GCS, Cloud Bigtable, BigQuery, Cloud SQL. For data pipelines, Dataproc, Dataflow, Data Fusion, and Airflow. And for streaming data ingestion, we are covering the PubSub, Cloud Functions, as well as Terraform. And additionally, we are covering the Linux basics, Python crash course, PySpark concepts, Apache Beam concepts. Okay, so this is what. So we are also covering the Linux basics. Basics of the Linux is required for the data engineer. We are covering the Python crash course also. We are covering the PySpark. We are covering the Apache Beam as well. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, course details. Okay, let me gonna show you first my notes. So the course material. This course is properly fully packed, guys. So with this course, almost 91 students got placed. I am telling you. Okay, so you can see here the cloud basics. So the same topics I have mentioned in very detailed here, and you have the data engineering topics also. Okay, so this is how it is. And those people who are planning for an interview, here I have created a tab called interview. Okay, so here you have the resume templates. For those people who wanted to create their resumes, you have the resume templates here. Interview introduction. If you are going for an interview, you have an interview introduction. Project 1 flow, project 2 flow. Architecture diagram for project 1 and project 2 is also here. And data engineering theoretical questions. These questions are very useful if you are going for an interview, guys. Almost most of the questions are repeated from here only. Theoretical questions are repeated from here only. You have plenty of questions, including the answers also. And you have coding questions. If you go for a data engineering interview, they are asking the coding, SQL coding questions and Python coding questions. Commonly asked SQL coding questions, commonly asked Python coding question from the interview panel itself. I have added it here. Okay, so this is all it here. And for those people who wanted to go for a certification, I have created the certification dumps here. So these questions are very useful. Some of the questions are repetitive also. Okay, so this is how it is. And as a what we call it, as a complementary, I'm providing you the end-to-end project too as well. That I will tell you later. And so as I told you, cloud basics, we are covering the GCP interfaces, locations, IAM and admin, all of the concepts. Account creation, I'm going to tell you in our upcoming sessions how to create the account. I'll tell you how to work with SDK, Linux basics, Python crash course, the notebooks. And our first topic, that is Google Cloud Storage, console and Cloud Shell. Working with the console and Cloud Shell. Cloud SQL, what is Cloud SQL? How to connect it to the Cloud SQL? Data migration project. In the Cloud SQL, we are covering the data migration project from the on-premises MySQL to the Cloud SQL MySQL. Okay, this is a data migration project we are covering. Okay, so sample data, you have assignments also here. For every topic, you will be having assignments here also. If you go here, you have assignment 1, assignment 2. And after that, BigQuery. What is BigQuery? What is architecture of the BigQuery? How to work with the BigQuery? How many ways you can able to create a table in the BigQuery? What is partitioning and clustering? What is nested and repeated phase? What is views? What is stored procedures? And assignments. Case study 1, case study 2. You have assignments also here, guys. Case study 1 and case study 2. And data proc, as I told you, introduction to the Hadoop, introduction to the Spark. What is the difference between the Spark and Hadoop? Spark, what is Spark? What is Spark architecture? What is Spark ecosystem? What is data proc? How to create the pipelines in the data proc? Creating the single node cluster, multi-node clusters, and data PySpark. We are learning the PySpark here. Lab sessions for the PySpark and data proc, data sets for that, and assignments. You have case study 1, case study 2, assignment 1, assignment 2, end-to-end batch pipeline. Here we are creating the end-to-end batch pipeline, guys. So which is integrating multiple services. And after that we have a data flow. What is data flow? How it is different from the Spark? So in the data flow we are using the Apache Beam. How the Apache Beam is different from the Spark? How the data flow is different from the data proc? The difference between the data flow and data proc? The lab sessions, the source, load, transform, job 1, job 2, data sets are also available. Assignments is also there. Template method of creating the pipelines, end-to-end streaming pipeline. And you have the codes also available here. What is PubSub? How to work with PubSub? The use cases of the PubSub architecture. Airflow. What is Airflow? Airflow architecture. How to create a DAG? What is DAG? How to create a DAG? Cron job format. Level 1 DAG, Level 2 DAG, Level 3 DAG, Level 4 DAG, Level 5 DAG for the assignment. Implementing the end-to-end CI/CD using the Cloud Build and GitHub. Implementing a end-to-end CI/CD using the Cloud Build and GitHub, guys. So this is also there. So you must know about the little bit about the CI/CD. So that's the reason I am talking about the CI/CD here, and we are creating an end-to-end CI/CD pipeline here. Okay, so this is what it is. And then we have a data fusion. What is data fusion? Creating an end-to-end pipeline in the data fusion. Cloud functions. What is cloud functions? Cloud function 1 creation, cloud function 2 creation. Finally, Terraform. You have a Terraform. What is Terraform? What is Terraform lifecycle, and how to create the Terraform scripts we are going to cover. Okay, so this is our final topic. All the topics are covered, including the assignments and pipelines also. You have seen case studies and pipelines and projects also. Okay, so that is what I am seeing. So course details. The course duration is of 2 months, 45 hours, daily 1 hour, Monday to Friday. Online live sessions only, guys. And video recordings are provided. Comprehensive material, just now I have shown you, right? I will provide you the access to my notes. It's a OneNotes, guys. If I provide you the access, you should be able to access it like this. 1 minute. So this is a link that I have to provide you, and I have to add your emails so that you will get an access like this. Okay, I already have the access to my mail ID, I guess. Yeah, I think yes, I have the access. Okay, so you have to access it properly, otherwise you cannot be able to access it, guys. So these are all the things that you can see the tabs, you have the pages here, so all the things are here. You can able to access everything like this. Okay, if you wanted to download something, you can double click on it, you will be able to download it also. All the things I am going to provide you the access. Okay, and comprehensive material assignments for each and every topic, the assignments are there. The real-time projects and case studies for each and every topic. Interview questions, as I told you, interview theoretical questions and coding questions also we have provided. Certification dumps for the associate cloud engineer and professional data engineer is provided. Resume templates are provided. Okay, so these are the course details, guys. Course of duration is 2 months. Timings daily 1 hour, Monday to Friday. The same timings, guys, 7:30 to 8:30. The prerequisite for this course is SQL, guys. So familiarity with the SQL is very much important for this course. We are not covering the SQL. SQL is the important for this course. Target audience for this course, aspiring data engineers. If you are coming from any background, whether you are coming from the data analyst or data scientist or software developers or database developers, are coming from a non-IT background, or those who are planning for the associate cloud engineer or a professional data engineer certification, this course is for you, guys. Whether you are from IT or non-IT, if you think that you got stuck somewhere, sir, I wanted to move ahead with the data engineering, so this is a course which gives you the job, guys. I'm telling you. So this is it for the course today, guys. So as I promised, all the topics that I have covered. If anyone have any questions, you please raise your hand, guys. If anyone have any questions, you can please raise your hand. Does anyone have any questions, please? Okay. Okay. So if you do not have any questions, we can wind up the session, guys. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me. I'll be here for next 2 minutes. Any course content or any topic related details, if you wanted to ask, you can ask me. I'll be here for next 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you all. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you for the session today. Uh, so we will be having the demo too tomorrow at the same time. We are going to cover about the GCP interfaces. That we will cover it tomorrow, guys. Thank you all. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. So let us wind up the session for today.